BridgerPay is the payment operations platform that makes your payment processing easy. It empowers your business to process more and scale way faster. Online businesses.
Okay. That was our video.
Why not?
Already, yeah.
So we can start, you
No,
said?
no, yeah, but we're gonna let people come in. Let's see how many people we have with us. Yeah, we have Rich from Riskified, and we have Marco.
Wow.
And Katrina. Great. Let's wait a few more minutes
And we start on
and we
time.
get started.
What do you think? You think, let's wait another minute. Wow.
So also the
Amazing.
huh?
No, amazing.
Holiday season.
I'm up for it. Yes.
Huh? Easter.
Yes. Easter, Pesach, everyone. Happy holidays for everyone.
Okay.
I think we should start.
No, I don't wait. We have
No?
a few more minutes. Let's let people get logged in. We've put some polls today.
Yes, of course.
Great. What is your overall customer return rate? What is the overall cart abandon rate? And declines. Let's see who is chatting us. Okay. Okay, guys, first of all, the one that are joining us for the first time, so hello everyone, and it's great to have you with us today again. And if you see in your platform, you have the questions and the polls button, so you can ask us anything during the session, and we'll be happy to answer.
Of course. So first of all, I'm Roni. I'm with Bridger from the beginning.
We are starting on.
Why not?
Can already?
Yes, we should start.
Yeah, let's give them a
It's
few more
time.
minutes.
Why?
What
But
time?
it's
No, let's wait a few more minutes.
okay.
I see people are coming in. We have Noel. Hi, Noel. Muna. Okay. Great. Let's wait a few more minutes before we start. So, what are we talking about today, Ronnie?
Today we're talking about a very basic question that I get all the time from prospects that are coming to us, and they don't know how to define between a payment, payment operation platform, which we are, and payment gateways. And I will be very happy to explain more about what is a payment gateway and how does it work, and how as a merchant you work with that, and what we do, how we are helping with the merchant with those payment gateways. Do you want me to start?
You're dying to start.
I'm dying to start.
So, okay, let's get started if we're all so eager. So, yeah, hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are here to share from our experience in Bridger and our experience in the payment ecosystem to you, different businesses and our dear clients that are coming in as well to our events. So happy to have you all here. And today we are going to talk about
payment gateways and what is a payment gateway. So I see we should change the.
Okay, we also have a pause answer.
Yes. Oh.
Okay.
That's good. Okay, what is a payment gateway? A payment gateway is the technology that the payment provider uses in order to process payments. It can be credit card transactions. And that means that every merchant that is coming and wants to open an account with the payment provider, he has to open, to do the application with the payment provider. and then he needs to integrate to the API, to the gateway, okay, to the payment gateway. And this is where we come later on, okay? So basically, when you are, as a merchant, want to open an account with a payment provider, you need to do the application. Okay,
so what's the process here?
The application is done with the payment provider. They will do a KYB for your company. They will understand what your business is, what is your business plan, and so on. And then you will need to give them all the documentation and open an account. Okay, this is what you need to do in order to open an account in this payment provider. And then you will need to integrate it. And this is the payment gateway, the technology. You need to integrate that. And from my experience, before before I came to Bridger and before I started sales, like 8 years ago, I used to work as a payment manager in an online company. And then I had to open a lot of accounts. Okay, it starts with opening one like worldwide account in order to process payments worldwide. And then you start sometimes, focusing in some regions. And then you need to open more accounts and look for more payment providers.
And you integrated each one of them and each one of them into the...
So that's, okay. So first of all is to search for a payment provider. And today we have in Bridger, how many payment providers do we have?
Over 500.
We have over 500 payment providers that we have a BI and AI that shows us how they perform in all the regions, okay? So basically when you don't have it, you search, you go on conferences, you speak with people, you search. Then you go to the payment provider, you do the application, which takes time, but it's okay. And then you do the integration. The integration is a different part of the thing because then you need to go to your IT team. Okay, you go to your IT team and you tell them, okay, I want to integrate this payment provider. And what do they tell you?
What?
Wait, kapara.
Wait, it will take a bit.
Yes, it will take a bit. And then
or two, a month or 3.
Yes, and because they have their product that they need to do so many other things that not only for the payment, and you as a payment manager and as an operation manager, that all the sales are like, we don't have a good conversions in these regions. You are like, okay, I have to fight to get this integration done. Okay, and then you get the integration done. Great, woohoo! You put it there, and
go on.
Okay, sorry. I thought that something happened. Yeah. And yes, this is the woohoo. So you get the integration done, and once you get the integration done, you start processing. And you know what sometimes happen? The processing, the conversion is not so good.
Yeah, but you're going too fast.
Yes.
Wait, so you said payment gateways, and it seems like you are very much speaking from the heart of the merchants, and it's good because you are speaking with them all day, so you are very much connected. How many times businesses or merchants asked you if we are a payment provider?
All the time. This is the first question that I get, and I need to explain over and over again what we do and what is the process with the with the what are we doing? You want us?
No. So what is the difference between, for example, put us aside, what's the difference between a payment provider and a gateway?
Okay, so basically what we the payment gateway is the technology. Okay, the payment provider is the one that is open an account for you and give you the settlements. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's a payment gateway or a provider that is using only one acquiring bank, or is using several acquiring bank, or is using also other payment methods that are that he's working with and is processing with. But the main difference between us as an operation platform to those payment gateways, that even some of them are using several acquirers or PSPs or payment methods, they are the ones that opens the account for you, and they are the ones that settles the funds to your account at the end of the day. Okay, this is the payment provider, flow. Okay?
So let's talk about some examples. If we look on companies like Stripe,
Okay.
which are a payment gateway, but also a payment provider.
Yes.
So they have their own gate, their own technology of processing, and they are connected to their own network of acquirers. So you get the settlements as a merchant from Stripe.
Yes.
And then you and you integrate Stripe, their gateway. So why would you need to integrate or connect Stripe and Bridger together?
Okay, so it's also, so let me share the difference, okay, because this is very important for this question. Okay, so what Bridger is doing, we are a payment operation platform. Okay, we are the technology layer that comes between the merchant itself. There is the merchant, there are the PSPs, and one second, we can have this the other
what?
Slide. The slide.
Yeah.
The other slide could be amazing.
Will be changed. So you will do like that, and the slide will change. You don't need to touch.
Matthew?
This is technology.
Please do it.
No, don't touch all the. Don't.
Okay.
All the others doesn't need to know all your magics.
Okay, so basically, we are the technology layer that stands between the merchant itself and the payment providers. Okay, so why should someone that is using, let's say, only Stripe at the moment use us as Bridger?
Okay? What's the difference between Stripe and you?
Okay, so the difference is that we are the technology. We're not touching the money. We're the one that helps you to operate the payment providers. Okay, to operate those payment providers in the best way possible. Stripe is limited to their payment providers because we are not a payment provider. That means that we are neutral and transparent. That means that we can integrate to any payment methods that you need. Okay, so I think that most of the,
it's very hard sometimes to explain, because in the end you say we don't touch the money and it's not. But if you look at it as if you speak to a merchant now and to a business and he doesn't really understand now what you mean by the settlements, because he doesn't see the whole process in front of his eyes sometimes. I think that the easiest way to understand is to understand that we are the ground that you build. You build all the payments on top. So it's like when you have a store, you go to one of the store's websites like Wix or Shopify or Magento or WooCommerce, and you build your store on top of some kind of an infrastructure that was already given to you. It's the same with Bridger. You build the entire payment stack that you have, the entire payment methods and providers that you want to have under one place. And this one place allows you to make the decision, to be the brain behind all of those payment providers and tell. Exactly when you want.
If we're looking at my experience and what you brought, I remember the first day that I came before I started working in Bridger, and you showed me the platform.
Black and white, I think the colors.
You showed me, the platform, and I was like, why didn't I have it before? Because we have the complete, I think. The complete structure that every merchant needs. Okay, so basically I wanted to go back for a second. Okay, so let's finish with the flow of the payment gateway, the payment provider. Okay, It was very important for me to emphasize that there is the payment gateway. You will open an account and you will get the settlement. So there is the complete round. There is the payment aggregator that has those payment providers under it, but you will still have to have one account with them, and then you will go the flow, and they will give you also the settlements. And with us as a payment operation platform, we are taking all those. It's very nice. I love this screenshot, but because it shows how we do it. Okay, we're like the technology layer. Okay, and you can connect to any with one integration to Bridger. You can then go open an account with any payment provider that you want. You do the application yourself as a payment manager, you can do it, okay? And then you don't need to go to your IT and I need to integrate them and I need to integrate them and I need to integrate them. So this is like you can do all the flow by yourself. Later on, there are so many.
That, this picture shows more than just the one API, because in the end, like you said, you remember your days as a payment manager and how you search for a payment provider, right?
Yes.
So you went to expos and you spoke with them and
they promised me the world.
You basically try to sell your business for them.
Correct.
In order for them to give you a processing account. And I think what we did in Bridger is changed the way things are working and brought the businesses much more power than they had before. Now, when a business comes to us and he wants to process with another processor besides the one that he already have, and he connected to us, then we can go to dozens of payment providers that fits that type of business and let them fight on him.
Yes.
And not the other way around.
Gain the power back, go negotiate your pricing with several payment providers that are processing in the region.
And all of them wants to process you. So you're not in the place that you need to run after them anymore. And I think we did a big change, not only in the one API and unifying the notification and calls and the communication between all the payment providers and Bridger, but also giving a lot of power to the merchants.
Right.
They don't have to go one by one anymore, never again, and they would be pre-approved before they even speak with the payment provider, and then close the commercials between each payment provider that they want to close it. This is their thing, and you never know, the set of what every client wants exactly to connect to. Some people are even willing to pay a little bit more, but to connect to the payment provider that's their favorite. We don't care. So we really want
we are agnostic to it.
We really want them to process and more and in the highest approval ratio. So, and I think that's what we do here in Bridger.
I think that also with this is another thing that I think that we started it.
Let's give some questions time, guys. If we have some people here that are quite quiet, if you have any question for us, you are more than welcome to just pop it up on the questions tab, and we'll be happy to answer.
So I think that. This is another thing. It's nice that you show it because when you don't have again, what was important for me to emphasize as well. You see this routing of Bridger, and it looks very it looks like it's very easy and everything. But as a payment manager as well. When I had to, I built routes, we didn't have back then, of course, most of the people don't have the retry feature that we will explain it later, but even with those routing rules, you have routing rules. Even back then, I had routing rules. In each country, I would send a transaction to one provider, and if it declines, it declines. Then you need to either try to gain this customer back or whatever. Declines. But still, for each country, there will be the first, the main, let's say, processor in this country, And if something changed, you know what would happen to me? I would go to Eyal, that was his name, and then I would tell him, I want to change the order, And when I had to change the order, it was like a few days until they would change the order, And with us today, with Bridger, you just do it in a drag and drop, and it's amazing, really. If you want to change the order of the retry that we will speak about later, or the order of the processing at all, or all those things, it's a drag and drop. It's a click of a button. And these are, again, a lot of tech resources that I had to, to spend, let's say. And this is amazing as well, as I see that.
The router is like you're saying, it's built out of countries. If you look at a lot of legacy gateways or legacy platforms, they use the routes is used to go through credit card scheme, and after the credit card scheme you have the BIN, and then after the BIN you have the country, and only after then it goes to that payment provider. So in today's world, payment providers process almost everything, all credit card type, almost all BINs, and the differences between them becoming very small. But regardless of that, the risks of fraud and chargebacks, etc., is still live and there. This is why you have companies like Riskify that comes to protect you from those things, and you can definitely connect them inside Bridger. And for example, in the router, say you see a route in Brazil, you could decide that only in the route of Brazil you would route transaction before all the different payment providers. You would route them to an authorization with Riskified, and only then comes back to the router and do the placement in the payment provider. We have different capabilities inside this router because it gives us a lot of flexibility to not only decide what would happen with the transaction after it's done, retrying it, but also before it ever happened.
Yes, this is
right?
very important.
And
yes.
Where is the right place or what is the right path this transaction needs to go through? We've built a lot of business logic rules that clients can build on Bridger that manipulate those routes. So we do think that today businesses come with so much knowledge, right? They come with so much, they know.
Yes.
They know what they want. They know what payment providers they're missing. They know which rules they want to place and what different methodologies they want to go. They have the dream. They have their visions, and they just need one place to place it all. And that will not require them anything, basically, technically, like you said.
They could do it, yes. They could do it one time very easily, and they can change it very easily, and they don't need to ask for the IT guys to work too hard.
So we see, I'm happy you guys agree with us, Marco and Pedro. We'll be happy to hear about your experience with payment gateways, payment providers, payment aggregators, payment service providers. So many different names, and in the end, I always look at it according to the money flow, So I don't care who you are. Are you the one that doing settlements for me? Are you also the one that is processing for me? You're not? Okay, so you're taking a cut. So it's always easy.
But I think that yes, people do understand the value, and if they, for me, if they are asking me those questions, I say that maybe I didn't explain the value. I can see that very easy, and you can see that very easy. But we need to share it with the other people. The other thing that I was really wanted to speak about is the more another thing. Okay, I had the PSP and I had everything. Wow, it was integrated. Everything was amazing. Okay, but then I had to go and to learn new back office. And what does it mean? Okay, and no one from the back office, and I worked with very, very good, let's say payment providers, but the back office, everyone have a different back office. And then you need to go, and there's a person that is not a technology person, you have to learn a back office. And with every payment provider that I started working with, I had to learn the back office. Why? I want to do refunds. I want to see if there are, God forbid, any chargebacks. I want to see if the transaction, to see that all the transactions that I have in the CRM are in their back office, and so on and so forth. And it was like, every time that I started, it was not only to connect with and do the application, it was the back office as well. And when I saw BridgerPay back office, really, it's very friendly user for a person that needs to manage the payments, to manage the operation. And of course, it's it's divided for sales or whatever. We can do it, but it's very, very clear. And also, I wanted to show that the transactions, okay, the transactions are coming in live time, in live mode to our. You can see it all the time. You can see all the transactions, the declined transaction and the approved transaction. And if there is a flow of a transaction that was declined and then approved, you can see it all in one dashboard. You can see all the transactions, and you don't need to, for everything, you don't need to log into different back office. If you want to check or you want to refund a transaction, you can do it as well, by API or even through our back office. So this is another very strong, let's say, thing for me as a payment manager, and is someone that really wanted to operate it correctly and to have it, the best way, and to scale my business. It was very hard to go and learn and to go into so much time. Really, I did it, but it consumed so much time from me as well and from my team. So it was a big mess. So I wanted to state it as well.
Look, if just to touch on transactions, you're showing the the transaction part in Bridger product, and it's a good example. When we speak about gateways and the differences between gateways and for example, Bridger as a payment operation platform, we are a payment operation platform, as it says. We are not a CRM. And many gateways are becoming a CRM. So all of your client data is there, all of their transactions, all of their client data, their personal data. It's a very risky door to open, if you ask me. Not only you have a CRM of yourself to protect, now you need to protect another layer. And like you say, many more layers that comes on top. What we've done in Bridger is made a decision from day one not to be a CRM. Mm-hmm. We are a transaction journal or ledger that allows you to see only the transaction and the transaction data and not users. So you will never see phone numbers or complete emails.
Very important.
This is super, super important to say that this is not keeping you a profile, or Bridger doesn't keep you a profile of your clients. You have your profile, I'm sure, in your systems or in other systems that you do your CRM on. Bridger will always be the one that will unify the entire transaction flow from any payment method and provider you are connected with through your checkout into one place that you can do anything from. Like you said, obviously view and monitor everything that comes in, but also refund or partially refund or payout. Obviously token all the transaction into one place. So I think we have a question also here that popped up. Let's see. Pedro is asking, what is the difference between a payment processor and a payment gateway?
Okay. So the payment. So no, because he's right. It's like a lot of people. It's very, very confusing. Okay, because a payment processor is the payment provider. Okay, it's not a difference. Okay, the payment gateway is the technology. Okay, the payment provider uses the gateway, the technology, in order to read those credit card, let's say, those credit card transaction, and to process the money from the end customer that uses. Now the end customer is coming, is putting is tokenizing his card details. Then it goes to the payment gateway, the information, the technology knows how to read that, and the payment processor is processing the money, and then he is moving the money to the funds from the customer to the merchant account in the payment provider. Okay, every merchant has an account within his payment provider. Those settlements that are from his account to Another account will be done from the payment provider to him, to his bank account. Is it okay? Too complicated?
I think that if you want to simplify it,
let's see.
So gateways are the technical
yes.
Layer that allows a payment provider to process.
Yes. Exactly.
A payment provider uses the technical layer of the gateway in order to send the transaction to the acquiring services, get the approval from the issuer bank, and receive the money.
Yes.
So this whole thing, this whole communication is between the gateway and through the credit card network with the issuer. And in the end, the payment provider is the one that holds this bank account, the aggregated bank accounts that will settle you the money. They will receive the money from the issuer, and they will settle the money
to the merchant,
to you as a business.
Yes. I hope it was clear.
So you have today gateways, which are only the technology. They are not. They are only the technology, and they have many different payment providers using the same technology, the same API, right?
Yes.
And from the other hand, you have companies like Stripe or Adyen or BlueSnap or many others that built their own gateway, connected him to their own acquiring services, and basically they are running the show through their own technology hub. So they are not using any third parties.
Okay.
On the same question of Pedro, in that case, who is making the settlements to the merchant, the processor or Bridger? So Bridger never ever, in any case, is doing settlements to clients. Our relationships with clients are on a technical level. Our contract is a technical contract, like any SaaS company that you take as a service, and you use their technology to do something in your business. The processors, the payment gateways, the one that you sign a processing contract with, the one that goes through, that takes you through what Roni said, the KYB and AML process that authorize you as a business. These are the ones that settle you the money. These are the ones that receives your client's money into their accounts. They reduce their commission and send to you the settlements without the commissions that they already charged you with. Bridger is a completely technology company. You pay us a subscription fee on our services, and we are not related and not connected and not charging also anything that is related to the volume that you as a business process in Bridger.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that also that was a big part of what we decided on day one, to keep us agnostic, keep us neutral, keep us off the game of payment providers, and let you as a business go and find the payment provider that you want to work with, and that gives you the best terms of processing. I hope I answered you, Marco and Pedro. Ellie is asking us, do you see there being an opportunity to tokenize the merchant to be able to simplify the process of merchants signing up to many global PSPs via BridgerPay? Process of already being an active, verified merchant
of BridgerPay. Okay, again.
That's a good question. Look, to do that, or to open merchant's account in multiple PSPs as BridgerPay, Bridger would have to be a financial institution to have the license for it. And if we're already doing it, what's the difference of becoming a processor and work directly with acquiring banks and becoming a processor that is no different than...
This is an aggregator, what you asked, okay? The aggregator mostly will take will do one KYB with you, and then
I'll go and open an account in Stripe.
Yes.
But as a business, you could also go and open an account in Stripe. If you do it through me, you will just pay a little bit more. So the business use case here is not something that you can scale, if you ask me.
This is the thing. It's very, as we said before, it's again, Those aggregators are our let's say it's not providers, but it's more of a partners. Okay, these are our partners. Okay, those aggregators, they are our partners. You can use them and use other payment providers in other regions, and you don't need to be limited to them. The value of BridgerPay is you need to understand that the value of BridgerPay is not to be an aggregator or the value of the payment provider that we stated their value, that you need to work with them. The value is the fact that you, again, as we said a few things like one integration, the fact that you're not, okay, we stated a few things that are very important, that it's one integration and so on, and that's how we started, if you remember. It was like do one integration to Bridger, and then you will not need to do any integration. I think that was the like in the beginning, and then we saw that the business, and it's very important to emphasize that it's our own platform that took us to build so many other things that we saw that our merchant needs. So this is another value. But the value of Bridger is the fact that you can operate and scale your business. That means to add more payment provider, to retry decline transaction, that I will say it now because we have a retry feature. It's very important. I don't know how many declines each one of you has in their business, but we know how to rescue decline transaction, and it's a very important thing, and it scales any business. Okay, but more than that, Ran is showing the customer experience, which is something that we didn't leave the reports and everything that we have, but the customer experience is very, very important. Okay, so basically what we spoke until now, what was the back end, let's say, of Bridger, and the worth of the back end for the payment manager and so on. But for your business, you have also the customer experience, which is so important, because you can see that as much as the customer, the customer path, the checkout path will be shorter, more accurate, without any redirection, with the less things that the customer can do, better is the conversion rate. I want to give you an example from one of the customers that started to work with us in a short while. Before that, I saw his like a checkout, and it was a customer that works along years. And in this checkout, you can see pay with EcomPay, pay with Nuvei, pay with, and I'm like, I know EcomPay, I know Nuvei, you know them, you know everyone, okay? It's our business. But think about the customer, okay? Customer is coming, he wants to buy a shirt. Who is EcomPay? Why should I give them my credit card? So this is the reason that we decided that it's not only that, but if we're looking from the customer point of view, all the credit card providers that we can do server to server with, we are putting them under one button, okay? So the customer doesn't need to choose if he's using Visa or MasterCard or whatever he needs to choose. He doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to tokenize one time. He needs to put on his credit card details to save them for the other purchase and buy, okay? He doesn't need to think too much where does he need to put his credit card details. It's in one place. And then again, as we said, the retry feature that is over there. And
Marco is asking. We have a question for Marco and Rich. So Marco is asking, do you support vouchers from third party, not directly from the merchants, to be integrated and process transactions? Yes, of course. If you look at countries like LATAM, for example, or Southeast Asia, you have payment providers and payment methods that sends you to the nearest pharmacy to go pay there in cash, get a voucher, come back to your computer, run, put the code, and I kid you not, that's how they process. I know. So there are different ways to process, and we are connected to
everything. Really.
To really so many. Yes, you can do vouchers, bonus codes, loyalty. many things that you can connect inside Bridger. Rich is asking us, capturing those potentials false declines is critical. More dollar is lost with false declines than chargebacks. Well, for sure. I don't know if you know, it's around $850 billion a year lost on technical declines. And that number came from MasterCard, and that is the amount of money that people are getting declines on, where they have money in their account. And, funds are there, but the transaction never actually reached the issuer because of so many reasons before. That's a part of what we solve with the retry.
Sometimes this is the retry that you said, and this is the reason that it's good to have more than one provider, because some of those processors don't know how to process some kind of credit cards from certain issuers.
If you look at the checkout, then that's exactly what we did on the checkout. We unified all the different credit cards, like you said, into one box, and all the different payment providers that provide you credit card transaction into one place. Client comes in, pushes credit card inside, and what happens behind the scene, that's a completely different thing.
Yes.
There's a full engine of logic that comes and starts taking this transaction through the path that you just mentioned between different fallback payment providers that as a merchant I set it before or preset in my Bridger, and now I'm able to start retrying transaction and not losing those declines, which, like Rich says, they are much more critical than anything else to your business.
But it's Rich. I want to even say something more than that. You're not losing a transaction. You're losing a customer. You need to understand, whenever I buy in even when I buy a shop and I got it and I'm a shirt in an online shop and I got it and I'm very happy from what I got, I will not look for other shops. I will most probably come back because I got the best, that I was happy with the service and everything. So think about the fact that this transaction could have been declined and you are losing a customer, not only a transaction. It's very important for me to emphasize it as well, because we are all people and we want to go to where we are safe. And another thing with that, you are showing not only the credit card, you are showing the alternative payment methods. And this is another thing that for the customer, if he's coming from a certain place, let's say a customer came from Australia and you have their Afterpay and OpenPay, all the buy now, pay laters and everything. It's not only the buy now, pay later. He knows OpenPay, he knows Afterpay, he knows PayPal. For him to put his money within this, method, it's easier. He feels safer. He will feel safer in his checkout.
And if he doesn't see them?
And if he doesn't see them, he will use his credit card. No, what do you mean?
30% leave.
I know, so no.
There is the abandonment on the cart, and sometimes, as business, you try to understand so much what's wrong with my checkout, and it could be that simple as people don't see what they want to pay with. They don't see the Google Pay, they don't see the Apple Pay, they don't see the buy now, pay later, the local payment provider, the voucher that they know and they are used to paying with, the crypto even now that they want to pay with, they don't see, they leave. They go to another place that offer them that payment methods for them to pay, because in the end, the way they want to pay leads today almost the entire consumer decision or process, and that's a big thing, and you as a business needs to adapt to it. That's a lot of money that you lose. I think, but by using a payment operation platform, allows you to do exactly that, unify a checkout to a way that you don't show a payment provider logo or name or different redirects to different places, but you show a checkout that looks like you, like your DNA 100%, and that's what you can do, or the first thing that you can do with the payment operation platform. And connect all the different gateways, payment providers, payment aggregators, whatever you decided to work with, because in the end, each business in his own level fits different payment providers. And you are not going to go to MasterCard Payment Gateway or CyberSource with 100,000, volume a year.
Yeah.
You need to have an amount of transactions. And different payment providers have different terms and conditions for you to process with it. It makes it almost, a niche. So each type of client and each type of size.
And you see now how many payment providers are adding more and more, and people are like they become used to paying with them. Really, it's like it's
this payment provider can lower me the cost up to a level. I want to go to a bigger boy. So when you grow in volume, you start also changing the different payment gateways, acquirers that you are connected in behind, because in the end, the battle of increasing approval ratio, reducing cart abandonment, and making those decline transaction almost not happening, if possible, that's your goal as a business owner or as a payment manager.
of course.
We have Ellie. Does BridgerPay allow to A/B test showing versus not showing payment option to customer without needing to create a new web page? Well, you can play with your router and build a route for different countries.
Mm-hmm.
So you could definitely have in Bridger 2 checkouts. One checkout is set up with the payment providers that you want, and the other one with the one you don't want, or the one that you want to remove for test. And then embed those checkouts under your website on a 50-50 percentage level. And that's it. You simply like that created an A/B testing. We provide you all the tools in terms of the different checkout capabilities. Any client of Bridger can create in the admin multiple checkouts. We have clients that are doing it for websites with languages, or multi-websites, or marketplaces, or groups of websites, right?
Yes. They use it
that are using different checkouts with different logics, not only for A/B testing, also due to different regulations, right? So you have different regulations under different jurisdictions, and you have different payment providers that you want to set. So it's allowing you to do that quite easily. So yeah, it's been done from Bridger. Wow. Times is flying, Roni.
No, we have fun.
You see?
Yes. It's not too bad, you see, huh?
So, okay. So we spoke a little bit about Bridger and what you get with Bridger, and the one integration and harmonized tokenization on all the payment providers. We have a free plan that allows all our merchants to get started with Bridger and taste our product and feel the power of retry.
Yes, I want to share another thing with this, free plan and with the growing customer. Let's say it's very important to emphasize that whenever a customer starts with one provider, let's say he starts with Stripe and he's tokenizing his credit card details of, he's tokenizing the credit card details in Stripe. Okay, whenever he will want to add another payment provider, let's say WorldPay. Okay. So basically, all those customers that already tokenized their credit card with Stripe will need to again put on their credit card details and save them, retoken them in WorldPay, let's say. And this, you say, it doesn't matter, but it's a hassle. Again, as we said, because we want the customer experience to be as short as possible and everything.
Yeah.
It's very important to.
What we do in Bridger is basically creating one token. These tokens belongs to you as a business, and no matter which payment provider the transaction will be approved on, we tokenized it on Bridger side. So on the next transaction, you would be able to send this transaction to whoever you want with the token you got with Bridger. So you own your token now and not anyone else, and it gives a lot of power to the merchants to change between different or to move between different payment providers, try different and other payment providers, and not be so bound, to the one they started with. And that also gives them a lot of power. So, guys, we have reached the questions phase, and we'll be happy to answer questions like we are doing throughout the session. And if anyone have any more questions to us about the differences between payment gateways, aggregators, providers, acquirers, and the payment operation platform,
whatever,
we'll be happy to answer. And yeah. So
I think that there is another thing you will communicate. I think that another thing that I wanted to to add is the fact that we forgot to mention another thing that is redirections, because we spoke about before cart abandonment, and this is another thing that we are trying not to do in Bridger as well. That means that if we can do a server-to-server integration with any provider,
people don't know what server-to-server one.
So yes, so okay. So we're trying to keep all the flow of the transaction within the page, the payment page of the customer. That means that we will, if we can, we will not redirect the customer to another payment page of the because again, as we said, no one knows the names of the providers that we are working with, unless it's we cannot do it, but we are trying to do it again to make your customer feel safe and not to have any card abandonment.
Yeah, so the server-to-server way allows us to integrate the payment provider, but still have the Bridger unified look and feel that is customized to the merchants. So we are not, when we are integrating a payment provider, we are not integrating it like most of the merchants, that they will integrate an iframe or a redirect to another tab. No, we are integrating the Bridger, the payment providers under the Bridger checkout, so they will be consumed within the Bridger checkout, not going out, not redirecting. We do it also with PayPal.
And it's very important.
It's very hard to do it, and the same with Apple Pay and Google Pay.
We're trying to give your customer to feel at home, let's say.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. Thank you very much for your feedback, and we are looking forward for our webinar together with you guys in Risky Fight. So let us know when we are doing it. Thank you, Marco, as well. Noel, very informative. More accurate processing of transactions means more money, and having operations means more control of the merchant. So
for the merchant, for the merchant. Yeah. So it's like gaining control back. I completely agree with that. It's
good. Roni already likes you know. Thank you very much, guys. It was good to be with you today, and see you soon in our next events.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Yay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So it's good.
Okay.